Hello YouTube. Today I just thought I'd take a minute to just to talk. I know I haven't been doing any cooking videos for a while, and in my previous 2 or 3 videos I have explained what was going on with the tragedy that just happened. And I hope you don't mind me eating, but even I like to eat some comfort food. So I've got my New York vanilla ice cream with a little bit of chocolate ganache I put on top. And I've got the chocolate flavor pirouettes. They seem kind of rude, but sometimes you gotta treat yourself. Well, of course, yes, I have it in my dessert cup. With the situation that just recently happened, it was just devastating. It was really hard for me personally and for other people that I know in the community, and went through such a range of emotions trying to figure stuff out and normalize things or make things make sense in my head. And sometimes things just aren't going to make sense. But that being said, I went through all that, and afterwards, a young man that I had known from years ago, back in in the days when I worked at school, kind of popped up out of nowhere. He was working, and he said, "Do I know you?" And I said, "I don't know." He said, "Where did you used to work?" Well, I've had a lot of jobs, like a lot of people have had a lot of jobs. Well, and he said, "Did you work at a school?" And I said, "Yes." And I said the name of the school, and he said, "That's where I know you from. You're the Terminator," which is a name that they gave me when I worked at that school, because when people would get in trouble, sometimes their school program would be terminated. They would be no longer allowed to be in the school. But I didn't terminate them. Anyone who's not willing to follow the rules have basically terminated themselves. Because if you know the difference between right and wrong, and you choose to do wrong, there are consequences. But he remembered me. And that was pretty amazing, because it had been quite a while. And he looked so different. He was so much older and looked so different. And was looking great. And I know in the past, when we started talking, he reminded me of his character from the past, and his personal attitude and behaviors, and his character in the past was not what you would call exemplary. So to see him, it was like looking at a whole new person. He said, "Yeah, before my hair was way down my back, now look at me," and he's clean cut. And, he and his friends who were involved in other activities before are now in families and having happy relationships and being productive citizens in the community, which is just awesome. And that's something I wish more people would do. But, sometimes we want things because we want it at the time that we want it, and we just have to wait on God's purpose and plan for everything. And that's what I've learned. God's plan works. And I can't put my own feelings ahead of God's plan, because even though this recent event was very negative, God has a plan and a time and a season and a reason for everything, even when we don't understand it. So, that's what it says in Ecclesiastes. For everything there's a season and a time and a purpose under the heaven. There's a time to live, there's a time to die. You know, there's a time to laugh, there's a time to mourn. So there's a purpose for everything. So I can't be stuck in my own emotions. I have to trust God and His plan. And that in this time that young man is incarcerated for doing the things that he did, I have to pray for him. And pray that he'll open his heart. And he'll see the error of his ways. And, you know, and realize that what he did is taken away from his life. You know, it's taken away from his freedom. You know, he didn't just take another life, he took away from his own life. And so the choices that we make a difference in the outcome that happens in our lives. Sorry, this is really good though. So, though I had this brief hiatus, I am back. And I will get to cooking again, because I would like to make things, this is November, instead of focusing on the negative that just recently happened, I'd like to focus on positive. And be thankful for the things that we're blessed with. Not everybody has the same opportunities in their lives. And so sometimes people act out of their own frustrations or whatever. But I just want to work on positive things. Taking what we have, even if it's just a little bit, and making it so that it's a blessing for ourselves and others. So, I'm going to be doing some baking. Baking of meats, bread, desserts. I'll also do some things like table setting, decorations, how to prepare for a party, doing invitations and whatnot. So Danette's kitchen is kind of morphing a little bit. It's including more than just here I am at the stove or here I am in the garden. Let's talk about things that build relationships and communities. And yes, there is food involved. But let's talk about these life changes and continue on this journey. And maybe you'll be able to invite someone in to share a meal with you. Or take a meal to someone who's unable to get out of their own home. That's a nice thing to do. It may not seem much to some people, but for those that aren't able to get out, or for those that aren't able to prepare a meal for themselves, that friendly visitor or that helpful meal, it can mean the world to them. So, letting go of the negative, acknowledging that it happened, but letting it go, so we don't stay in a place of sorrow or mournfulness. Yeah, there's a time to mourn, there's a time to be sorrowful, but we don't want to stay there, because the joy of the Lord is our strength. So, and moving forward to a new beginning. Because even a seed has to die in order for it to sprout a tree, a plant. The seed has to die first. And then the newness comes from that, and the growth in the beginning, the new beginning. So, I hope you continue to join me on this journey, and I look forward to seeing you there. Have a great day.